Since late July 2025, at least 425 tons of airdropped aid has been released over Gaza, adding to hundreds dropped in 2024. In comparison, Gaza requires 12,000 tons of aid on the daily to meet basic needs. Let me repeat that. 12,000 tons every single day, against the hundreds of tons dropped in less than 2 weeks. Effectively, all airdropped packages in more than a week constitute roughly 3.5% of aid needed in a day, while being 100 times the cost of truck delivery. More so, all the aid airdropped on Gaza in the past 21 months delivered the equivalent of 4 days' worth of food. Yet, 6,000 trucks filled with aid sit within 1 hour of Gaza's borders, slowly rotting and denied entry. UNRWA Chief Philippe Lazzarini has called these airdrops a distraction and a smokescreen. Beyond their inefficiency, they're also deadly. At least 21 Palestinians have died in airdrop incidents. And in February 2024, 12 Palestinians drowned while trying to retrieve packages from the sea, and 6 died in a stampede while attempting to reach airdropped aid. In March 2024, 5 were killed when a parachute failed. Most recently, Nurse Uday al-Qar'an was killed by a falling pallet. To make matters worse, the aid is not reaching civilians. Armed groups linked to Israel seize most packages and resell them at inflated prices, and instances of spoiled and contaminated food have been also reported. 10 out of 24 items in one Spanish package were expired or moldy. Access to aid is not only restricted by volume, but also by design. The US and Israeli-backed Gaza Humanitarian Foundation was designed to further restrict aid access. There are only 4 GHF distribution points in southern Gaza. Now compare that to the 400 UN sites that used to exist throughout the Strip. Additionally, the GHF sites open just for 10 minutes, with 17 minutes between announcement and opening. And after these 10 minutes, the IOF opens fire at Palestinians still at the aid site. And that's exactly how 1,743 Palestinians were killed in aid massacres. It's with such meager aid access that Gaza is in the middle of a famine. 90,000 women and children need urgent treatment for acute malnutrition, and more than 212 starvation deaths have already been reported, 50 of them children. To prevent more starvation deaths, malnourished children require therapeutic foods like fortified pastes. But airdropped food doesn't meet this criteria. As a matter of medical fact, reintroducing food without supervision can trigger refeeding syndrome, a potentially fatal metabolic collapse. Famine expert Alex DeWall says there's no case of such minutely engineered, closely monitored, and precisely designed mass starvation as is happening in Gaza today. Unlike other war crimes, starvation requires prolonged obstruction. Even if the famine ends today, its effects will be felt for decades, as prolonged malnutrition causes permanent cognitive impairment and developmental delays that can be passed down intergenerationally through epigenetic effects.